Hi fam, welcome to the channel and my first attempt at filming a mini vlog of a recent trip I had in Japan in May 2023, which was my first international trip out of Australia since COVID lockdown. So I was super excited as I love Japan as a traveling destination. Hopefully you'll find this video fun and helpful in your Japan planning, and I seriously recommend those who have not been put this on your bucket list, as Japan offers something for everyone, whether you're a nature lover, foodie, or an anime junkie. This will be a two-part series covering my 1 week or so in Hokkaido and then in Tokyo and surrounds. I will try to provide some tips from my latest experience as well as my personal honest opinions on various things. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel and leave me any messages down below. Dewa, without further ado, sit back, relax, and let me take you on this mini adventure. Okay, so this is my first attempt at doing one of these mini vlogs, so I didn't really know where to start the clip. So that was my attempt at the intro, and so I'm gonna just start all the way from the beginning. When I got into the airport, this is basically a Sydney airport. It's a pretty cool airport. Got enough shops around if you want to try and get some last minute shopping in. And then the food option is okay, I guess. There's a bistro, as you can see on the screen right now. And then there's some other food options around. So for a quick bite, there's enough stuff to eat, I suppose. Not quite sure when these close, but when I was here, it was around, I think 7 p.m. maybe, something like that. But yeah, you can't miss. I think the McDonald's may open till a bit later, so it's a bit of a fancy McDonald's that we have in the airport. You've got the conveyor belt, as you can see. So I got some McDonald's for dinner, picked a quiet spot. I can't remember what I got, to be honest. Okay, there it is. I think it's a McChicken or something like this, like that. The flight was pretty empty, which is actually really good. It is so empty that I actually had like the seats next to me empty. So, because this is an overnight flight, it was a great sleep that I had. So I was very happy with that. So yeah, like I wasn't sure how full it was gonna be, but it was pretty empty. Food was fine for airport food. Good thing I had Macca's earlier, so this was enough to kind of fill me until the next morning. So it was bright and shiny the following morning, very early in the morning, 6 or something when I got here. I can't remember. I'm doing this voiceover after the fact, like a few weeks after the fact, so just trying to remember what I was doing, what time it was, and what was happening at the time. But yeah, just definitely felt like yesterday when I was there, even though it's already been a month and I finally got around to editing this video. This is not Chito. Where is this? This is Haneda Airport, I believe. As I was, so I got to Haneda first, and then I straight away went on a transfer because I was going to Hokkaido to meet my missus, who at this point has been in Korea for a little while. So we were just gonna meet up in Hokkaido to start our Japan trip together. This isn't our first time in Japan, so kind of know our way around a little bit. But skies were clear. It was a very nice day that day. In fact, the whole trip, I think it was really decent weather. Not too hot, not too cold. And then here is New Chitose Airport. New Chitose Airport, I must admit, is a great airport to be in if you've got time to burn. It's probably one of the busiest airport that I've seen, but busy with like good stuff, you know, not like boring stuff, but there's actually a lot to do outside. As you can see from this quick clip, there was even a Uniqlo around, but just about everything you want for an airport if you have like time to burn. Not that many people actually, or in Japan this time in general, as you'll see in later clips. Japan's only just kind of reopened tourism in very recently, so it's still picking up, and it's the effect of the lack of tourists is definitely very visible in certain areas in Japan, especially in Hokkaido area. But yeah, Pokemon store, I visited a couple. This is a very small one in the airport, in New Chitose Airport. I think this is the only one. No, there is one in Sapporo, but this is the small one in the airport. I just wanted to see if they sold Pokemon cards because yeah, I collect Pokemon cards, but unfortunately there wasn't any. There's definitely a shortage of product situation going on in Japan, so I wasn't able to get any. So what I did instead, whilst I was waiting for the missus to get in, she was still, I think she was just getting out at this point. So I was just walking around, having a look at the airport, just to see what is around, to show you guys what you can expect if you come to New Chitose Airport. If you wanted to grab a quick bite, there are heaps of options, good options too. Really, really nice food actually. A little bit expensive obviously because of the airport, but the food quality is really, really good. So we settled on, we were always going to come here. The ramen dojo, I guess. The ramen street. We were always going to come here because this was the first thing we ate years ago when we came here as well. And we basically ended up eating the exact same thing. I know, not very adventurous, but we ended up coming here. And I should probably put the names of stuff where we've been to on the screen as well, but we ordered this prawn ramen, which was delicious. Very, very nice. Food in Japan overall is very nice, so there's nothing for you to worry about in that regard. After that, we went to pick up our car with Toyota Rent-A-Car. It was a very nice car. We had this car for about a week or so. Went around everywhere with it. And then, so one thing I wanted to comment on first and foremost is that the drive in Hokkaido is generally very beautiful, because the island is surrounded by naturey stuff, whether it's water or mountain or greens. So it is definitely a very, very nice drive. And our first stop in our itinerary was Otaru. So the Otaru Canal is very famous if you just Google that. And but what people probably don't know is that other than the Otaru Canal, there is an area that you can explore, which is this street that I'm on right now. And it's got food, random stuff. As you can see, I ended up buying some rocks because the guy convinced me that the rocks were good luck, so I did buy some rocks. And there are a lot of like artistic stuff from local artists, I think. So we bought a few things to support that, but other than that, it's definitely food time. We ate a lot this time in Japan, all kinds of stuff. The Latao cake, I definitely recommend the Latao cake. It's probably the best cheesecake I've had ever, the Latao cheesecake. So definitely, absolutely recommend you have a try. And then we saw some chicken and Otaru beer from this place. So I love my chicken nuggets, so it was definitely a must for me. After that, it was some ice cream and more of this really cute ceramic little dogs, cats and other things. So we bought one, of course, that looked like our dog Astro, because at this point it was only a day in and we already miss him. This bird is definitely going to kill Astro if it sees him, so it allowed us to actually get a good shot of it. And then we got some crepe afterwards from Momo before taking a little nice stroll along Otaru Canal, which is what you're looking at right now. It is really, really beautiful. The weather was nice, as I said. It was a little bit of breeze, but overall it was really nice. A really nice walk along the canal. After that, we went to the hotel we stayed at. I've got the name of the hotel on the screen right now. I can't remember where it is. I'm literally freestyling as I'm watching the video. So I edited the video first. Now I'm doing voiceover. So I'm just trying to remember what happened like 4 weeks ago. Anyway, this is our room. It's very basic. It's actually very nice. Where we stayed was Central Otaru as well. So it was literally like a minute away from that street, or a couple minutes away from the street that I was on just now. So it was very convenient. However, Otaru is not back to its full capacity from what I remembered from years ago. A lot of the shops were closed, like for good. Other than that, a lot of the restaurants were closed for dinner. So it was quite hard to find stuff to do in Otaru. But the good thing is there's not that many tourists, so it was easy to get around. But yeah, a lot of the shops were closed. We went to like 4 or 5 different restaurants before finding one that was actually open, which is this place. Had my orange soda, but it was a sushi kaiseki. So it was very, very nice food. But it wasn't enough to fill us up, and so we had to make our very first convenience store stop in 7-Eleven, which if you know anything about Japan, you know that 7-Eleven is not just 7-Eleven, but it's like where you can get all your stuff. Following morning, we went to the tracks. It's a very nice spot to take photos before just walking around Otaru, the city area, in the morning. Again, you can see there's not a lot of people at all, although this was quite early because we were looking to go and have our breakfast, which is a seafood, I guess, market, as you can see on your screen right now. It doesn't look like a seafood market from the outside. I certainly didn't think it did. It also looked like it was closed. So we were thinking whether it was another one of those places that was closed for good, but thankfully it wasn't. And then we were able to have our breakfast. But this is basically the inside. It's a very small seafood market. These markets are everywhere in Japan, especially in Hokkaido, that sells like seafood, raw seafood, or fresh live seafood, I should say. And then there's also offers you a chance to eat. So this is where we ate. Again, all the food were pretty similar, but you can see the quality of the food on your screen right now. It's just, the food in Japan is just unbeatable. I'm not going to pretend I'm going to go into a food orgasm and tell you how good the food is, but the food in general is just amazing. Yeah, we had a quick donut at Mr. Donut afterwards before making our trip onto the next destination, which I believe is Niseko coming up. So again, the drive was beautiful from Otaru to Niseko. And as I said earlier, it's everywhere you look, it's mountains. And because this was still like winter, you can see the mountains had snow on top. And this was a quick stop, a pit stop. It was just, this can't really capture how grand it was, like these footages. But when you're there, it's just like you look up in the sky. It's just very, very, very refreshing. It's just very nice. Very hard to describe how good it feels. So you kind of just have to be there to experience just how great nature is. Before we got to our hotel in Niseko, we made a quick stop. Again, I can't remember what this mountain was called, but it's the famous mountain in Niseko. And we went to like this area where you can sit down and eat some stuff with the mountain as the view, which we did. Pretty sure they sold pastry and whatnot. You can still see snow on the ground. Don't really see snow in Australia unless you like travel to specific skiing spots. But yeah, this is where we ate. A lot of pastries, cakes, dairy products. Actually, what it was. Again, I've got the name of the place on screen. But as I said, you get the chance to eat in front of this beautiful, beautiful view. Again, not many people around actually in Hokkaido when we went this time of the year. I think tourism hasn't really picked up in Hokkaido yet, so it definitely felt a little bit slow. But the good thing is, obviously, you're not competing with tourists everywhere you go, so I suppose there's pros and cons. This is our hotel. It was a beautiful hotel in the heart of Niseko. I really, really like this hotel. I believe from the couple days we stayed at, I think there were only like 3 other people entirely in this hotel, which has got like hundreds of rooms, and I only ever saw like 2 other couples, or 3 other couples. So it was quite astounding how little people. I know, like, you go to Niseko for skiing, right? Or that's why we were here, to catch the end of the snow, so we can do some skiing without like, you know, like it being super busy with everybody coming to ski. Because we were told by the locals that during ski season is actually quite intense. A lot of people, so we wanted to catch the end of it, but we weren't able to do that, as I'll explain in a moment. But this is the view from outside our hotel. This hotel, I will say, it's more like a service apartment. So normally if you go into a hotel, look at that view. That's a 7-Eleven, that's a Lawson's across the road as well, which is awesome because I love Lawson's and 7-Eleven in general. You should definitely make a stop in there because they sell everything really. And the food in 7-Eleven, Lawson, I must admit, it's actually pretty good considering it's just a convenience store, right? Like in Australia, you don't go to 7-Eleven to eat, but in Japan you do. A lot of people actually do that as well. You buy like onigiris, rice balls, and they heat your food as well, which is really cool. But anyway, coming back to this room, as I said, this isn't really a traditional hotel because normally you don't find stuff like washing machine, and as you're about to see in a moment, oh, there's a dishwasher here. I don't know if I've got it captured in these clips, but yeah, it was very convenient because at this point my missus had a lot of like dirty clothes from Korea and had a couple of days of clothes, so we were able to wash that, which is great. This was really I was just really a bit that was really quick, but feel free to pause. But they actually charged us for parking when there was like free street parking all around. So make sure if you are driving, definitely find some local street parking. I think we were charged like $30 to park for 2 nights, which was a lot of money. Even though they said like guests actually get free parking, but we didn't. And we thought like, language was too much of a barrier to try and I guess discuss what we saw versus our charges, but we decided to just leave it. It is what it is. But yeah, we got a whole bunch of stuff from the Lawsons across the road. This stuff on your screen right now, I highly recommend. It's delicious. So after settling in, getting some food for the night, we walked around a little bit before kind of heading over to dinner, because we got there quite late. So just explore the neighborhood a little bit. So we had Genghis Khan for dinner, which was really nice. There's not that many options around Niseko. As I said, not that many people, so not that many places were open. But coming back to the hotel at night, this is the lobby area. Very, very nice. Very tranquil, very peaceful, very warm as well, because it was very cold outside at this point. And we saw a couple people sitting here reading books, so it was very nice. Had a quick bite, had a quick soba. Not soba. That was yaki soba, because I was hungry again. Before we actually booked a private onsen with the hotel, which was very nice because our room didn't have an onsen. And we definitely, coming to Japan, one of the things you absolutely must do is the onsen experience. Obviously there are onsen towns around which we've been to previously, so it's a lot more like out there in the nature. But then you've got like just about every hotel in Hokkaido, I would say, have some kind of onsen facilities. There are public onsens as well, which obviously you're not allowed to film, but then there's a private onsen like this that you'll see. It's not even that expensive. It was quite cheap. That was very nice. You get an hour in there. It was super nice. Breakfast with a great view. It was very nice. Actually, you can see how little people there are from this video. This was breakfast time, and we were just about the only people in there, plus one other couple in there. Both days we were here, there was no one here for breakfast. You could just tell that the hotel is still running, obviously, for the few people that are here, but the town was very dead at this point. Also, one other tip: if you do come here for skiing, and if you drive here, there's actually a Toyota rent-a-car here. So you could, I would recommend you actually drop off your car to save some money, because to get around to ski fields, most hotels, from my understanding, actually offers buses to take you there. And aside from that, this little kind of city area that I stay in right now, everything is traversable by foot, so you don't really need a car. And we could have saved ourselves a couple $100 by actually returning the car here, enjoy the next 2 days, and then pick up the car again once we're ready to leave. But yeah, we weren't able to go skiing, so because there was no snow left at the bottom, and we were both like beginner skiers, so they recommended that we didn't go up to the top because it was going to be a pain in the ass to get down if we didn't know how to ski. So instead, I guess it was lucky we had the car, because we were able to take it to travel to surround. So we actually went to Lake Toya, and then went to a few different places along the way, one of which being like this kind of another dairy kind of stopover to get some ice cream and look at some animals they had, before making a stop at this really beautiful like a lookout spot that I've got the name on the screen again. This, you can see how little people there were. So I think for places like this, it's great that there weren't that many tourists, because you could just fully absorb nature, enjoy it, and then just blend into nature. Really, it was again. So it's Seido Lookout in the Lake Toya area. We decided to go to Lake Toya because Lake Toya was where we stayed at previously, so it was a nice, very nice area around the lake. So yeah, this is so around the lakes. If you do stay in the Lake Toya area, which I highly recommend, specifically this hotel called Nono Kaze, Lake Toya. So it's Nonokaze. It's an absolutely beautiful hotel. And then, yeah, but if you still stay around Lake Toya, it's basically all of the, I guess, the resorts, not even hotels, all of the, like, the accommodation around here are resorts. So you get really, really nice onsen, you get really nice food. They even had karaoke, I think, and like a games room for kids, from memory. But yeah, it's all surrounded. This is a lake itself. I can't describe how beautiful this is. It was just like, we just sat here, didn't talk, just sat here and absorbed the nature. Like, we're both nature people, so we love exploring nature. So it's just finding this little spot and just sitting here and just listening to, I guess, water, wind, birds. It was an absolute beautiful experience. So highly recommend you checking out this area. And then, yeah, the drive, if you love driving and if you love driving with a beautiful view, Hokkaido is beautiful for that. It's just unparalleled driving experience. I can never get that in Sydney, like this kind of, or anywhere in Australia really. But it's Hokkaido's driving experience in Hokkaido is beautiful. Even so, this is the Lake Toya town. Unfortunately for the local economy, it is quite dead. Like, it is, I have to admit, it's really dead. Not that many tourists. A lot of the facilities, restaurants and whatnot are closed because there are not enough people to serve. So for us, it was okay. Like, sometimes you want areas to be touristy and vibey because you want that vibes, but other area, you don't mind if it's quiet. So I guess it's a bit of pros and cons, I suppose, for having or not having tourists. I mean, just depends on what you want. I think for Tokyo, you probably don't want that many people, and there wasn't that many actually in Tokyo this time as well. But in Hokkaido, definitely not. This was our lunch, quick lunch. It was beautiful. I got katsu, the missus got like ildon, and then we had some Mont Blanc and cheesecake afterwards. So this was just a quick day out because we were unable. This is the Nonokaze hotel that I was talking about earlier. So your room is basically above that building, and this is what you look out to. So, and I recall at nighttime there's also fireworks as well. So this is on the way back from Toya back to Niseko. You get a full amazing view of the mountain, and it's just really quaint. It's just really hard to describe Japan's landscape and just how beautiful everything is. Like, you don't get this stuff in Sydney. I don't know. It's just the way Japan. I don't know if it's the buildings or the landscape, streetscape, or nature, or whatever it is, or watching Japanese anime growing up, but just everything about Japan, especially in the outback, is just beautiful. Australia is more barren, but Japan is more, I don't know, fulfilled, I guess. This is our dinner. Then it looks like we couldn't find it for a little while. It just was like a storage container. But yeah, the food was great. We had a very nice chat with the bartender lady. She was super nice, as is everyone in Japan. She told us, yeah, it's crazy season during ski season, but outside of ski season, it was really quiet. So yeah, moving on. Our last stop, this cute little Shiba that we found in somebody's car. Good thing they had the windows open. Remember, guys, if you're gonna leave your dog in the car, never ever close the windows, right? Because they might, excuse me, they might suffocate. But yeah, our last stop in our Hokkaido trip is Hakodate, the brick warehouse, where again they sold a lot of artistry stuff. But this is the Hakodate port. The weather that day was beautiful. It really gave everything a really nice natural lighting, as you can see. Again, very hard to describe everything from the clips, so I try to take as many grand views as I can for you guys. But first things first, to grab lunch. And look, I'm indifferent about Lucky Perriot. I know every other YouTuber you watch, probably people are saying, oh, you must come here. For me, it's okay. It's like, it's okay for, like, it's not that expensive, but the food is not, anything people are saying like this is crazy and whatnot. Like, it's fine for the amount you pay for the burger, right? It's just fine at the end of the day. I think one of the reasons why people recommend, by the way, this crepe is amazing. I think one of the reasons why people recommend you go into the Lucky Perriot stuff is because there's really nothing else to eat around the red brick warehouses, I think. We walked around, there was really nothing else going on apart from that burger place. But later, as we walk around, the warehouse, we did find this seafood market again, which did sell food and gave you a kind of a spot to eat. So if you didn't want to eat the burger, and if you're more into more of a seafood person, then you can definitely check out this little market. Not little, you can see it's quite big actually, but they sold a lot of like bento boxes and sushi boxes and stuff like that, which you can just grab something, sit down and eat. So it's definitely an alternative option to the burger place. But yeah, look, the burger is fine, but it's not like orgasmic or anything like that. So if that's what you're expecting from watching other videos, like, it's fine. That's the most I will say. But it is cheap, so it is good. I seem to have lost some footage for walking around the red brick warehouses, but yeah, the warehouses, a lot of them were closed actually. So it was a little bit of a disappointing day out in Hakodate because a couple of the warehouses were closed, and then so we didn't get to fully experience the warehouse area. But this is our hotel. Next hotel, that was the lobby area. It was actually a nice hotel again in Hakodate. The city itself definitely felt older than most other Japan cities, which I really, really liked. It's like rewinding time, you know, nostalgia and stuff like that. So definitely should go check out Hakodate. And because one of the things to do, one of the touristy, so that was the view from my room, which is great. But one of the touristy things you do in Mount Hakodate, in Hakodate, is actually just Mount Hakodate, which between that and the red brick warehouse is why we decided to make the Hakodate our final stop. Because yeah, we've traveled Hokkaido pretty well. We've been on the eastern side of Hakodate, around the other side of Hakodate, but we never really traveled down to Hokkaido, but never really traveled down to Hakodate. So we decided to do this. Yeah, just driving around the Hakodate city, you can see it's just something about the Japan landscape. It just really makes me feel really tranquil, and I don't know why. It's just really, really nice, you know. On the way up to Mount Hakodate, caught a little bit of cherry blossom, which was rare when we were there. This is a beautiful, amazing sunset. So we went up around the sunset time to watch the lights change from day to night, which I will show you a couple of clips in a moment. But this is top of Mount Hakodate. Look at that view. It's absolutely grand. This footage cannot capture it, but I'll do what I can. This is that daytime footage, right? If you think this looks amazing, just give it a couple of seconds, and then we'll transform into the night. Look at that. That's beautiful. Again, this clip cannot do it justice, but it is just really, really beautiful. It wasn't too cold, and there wasn't too many people, at least not on our way up, or whilst I was filming this. But on our way down though, however, it's a different story. Like, I thought, okay, well, maybe not that many people come up to Mount Hakodate because there weren't that many people in Hokkaido in general this time. So I thought, you know, it didn't really matter when you came. But recommendation is you go there before 5 to, I think a lot of people just think about coming here when it's dark to capture that time, but I recommend you coming here around 5-ish is when we went, to get into that kind of transition time from day to night. So you get a little bit of day, then you get a little bit of night, because you could see from this clip, this is like 3 times the speed as well, and that was only half of the clip. That was absolutely crazy on the way up when we left. So recommend you go up nice and early, otherwise you're going to be in that, I think if you were stuck in that traffic, it would have been about 30 minutes before you got up to the top. Anyway, after that, we had a couple of things for dinner. It was some very, very nice takoyaki bowls, and they had ramen and fried rice. And then met the locals as well. Very, very nice local people. Just chatting. We had to use like Google Translate to try and translate, which was a funny experience. But people were happy to talk. You know, they were very, very nice locals. Breakfast the following morning, this breakfast was insane. There was a lot of people for this breakfast. It's probably the first time we've experienced like traffic in terms of like people traffic. It wasn't just free flowing, I can get whatever the hell I want, I have to wait in line. But the breakfast selection for this hotel is amazing. And like Japanese breakfast, if you're not used, they also served Western food as well, like your bacons and your scrambled eggs. But you have to try Japanese breakfast, right? Coming to Japan. So But this is a secret hidden location, supposedly from one of the local people that we were chatting to the night prior as we were like having dinner. They said to come here to watch cherry blossoms, and this was the only spot that we caught cherry blossoms. I think we were there slightly late or slightly early, can't remember, but this was the only spot we caught cherry blossoms. Unfortunately, I don't know the name of this place. They just told us to I can't even remember what they told us. So maybe if you just Google cherry blossom street in Hakodate, maybe you'll find it on the map. But that's pretty much it, guys. Like, this is our Hakodate or Hokkaido trip. It was a very enjoyable, it's a different experience this time, I guess, with the lack of people going around. So I don't know, I feel like we haven't fully explored Hokkaido, but because of everything being closed and whatnot. But I definitely recommend Hokkaido. But yeah, thanks for watching part 1 of this video. We're going to be showing you guys Tokyo and surrounds in part 2. So make sure you come back for that. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.